Hey, welcome to the News to Vinny Show. This is Jay. This is Vinny. We're gonna do our first podcast show. Actually, it's not our first, it's probably our first official podcast host. But we just gonna speak our mind, and I hope you guys like it. You have anything to say?
I am News Trevini. I know everything except what I don't know.
All right. So now just end the meeting.
The Egyptians weren't white,
Right.
The original uh the original Jewish people is unknown because they didn't have cameras there. They can like research and they see they're different racially. Like even though but the point I'm making is that's how far back it went, right?
Yeah.
And then the pagan they had um the Jesus came about, right?
Right.
And Jesus was a pacifist.
Mm.
And very little of his talking is about killing people. He was a pacifist. And
So you didn't believe in killing people?
no, no, there was punishments and all that stuff, but his interpretation was mostly forgiveness.
But at the time, that was killing people was the way they resolve
The way they resolve things.
storms. Yeah,
See,
especially the Empire. They didn't like the one going over their head,
and he
so they were killed.
um prophets, right?
Okay.
Not prophets, as the 12 guys that were around him. All right,
Okay.
he was one of the 12. And there was and they were and but their concept, right, was anybody could join their religion. All they had to do is believe. So
Right.
it wasn't chauvinistic. It wasn't like we're the chosen people. We can only be chosen by blood, like the original Jewish religion was.
Correct.
It was like anybody can become a Christian.
Mm.
So they would go in and at first the Romans who were pagans, right, persecuted them.
Mm.
They made them, and it was outlaw. And the apostles, they had the apostles went in one by one. The apostles got killed, and also the apostles. Some of their writings were warlike because they were warring against the Roman Empire.
Right.
So they got a little radicalized. And then they went into different parts of the continent and they mixed in with the pagan religions.
Right.
And the pagan religion is like, oh, pacifism, what? Turn the other cheek, but get even
How they get even?
by war. So so essentially, say these are belief systems, right?
Okay.
And you have Jesus who's come here with his apostles, right? The apostles are interpreting Jesus after he got killed.
Let's give the listener a view in the head. How
Like
many?
Odin's here, right? We got Odin here.
Let's give them how many beliefs they have.
The major ones in Germany, right,
Yeah.
was Odin, the Thor, and
There
Loki.
was multiple.
There were multiple, but Odin was the head god,
That was the heck. Okay.
right? And in Rome, it was Zeus,
It was Sus. Okay.
and and then they had different little religions like
The small religion, private.
but
Okay.
the main ones was Germany and Zeus and with Odin
All right.
and Zeus with and they and because originally, right, there was no when you thought of God, it was almost like the Muslims were. You didn't have the Jewish people don't have statues of their God. They
Mm.
have symbols to relate. And original Christians, they didn't have like
Yeah.
statues of
Stars of
Jesus or
Jesus.
anything like
Okay.
that, right? Now,
So
the Romans found after a while, right, they started admiring the um the Christians because the Christians were very brave in like holding on to their religion, their converts and all that. They put them in they fed them to the lions. They put them in the gladiators, and they wouldn't give, and they had to renounce their religion, and they wouldn't do it. So, but the religion became part of the Roman Empire
mm,
because it got strong, and they noticed they were good warriors when they fought, if they fought for their religion. And one time, what and so it wasn't really clear that the Romans decided, right, that Jesus was not a prophet, he was
Mm,
God.
okay.
Because they said, we're not going to be, run by a prophet. We're going to be run by Jesus, who is God,
The
right?
God, not
And a
a
Roman,
prophet.
what happened, there was a Constantine. There was a, I think it was, his name was Constantine. He had all the Christian guys get together, right?
Yeah,
And they were going to debate who Jesus was, right?
yeah.
And what happened was this: Constantine, and he was a pagan at the time, right? But he had soldiers that were the way. One of the reasons he decided that he wanted Rome to be Christian is there was a war going on, a civil war among the Romans,
Right.
and he saw that the pagans on the other side weren't fighting as well as the Christians. Christians
Mm,
had their symbols and their cross and all that stuff, and they defeated them. And he thought this could um, invigorate the Roman Empire to have a
more
stronger belief
strong
system,
belief system.
because the Romans, what they would do is it became a thing where the Romans really didn't believe in their gods anymore. They would bribe them and like say, "You're Mercury, or you're Zeus,
Right.
and I do a contribution to you and to get your prayers, to
Mm,
get more, you'll do
more
things for me."
people to
So,
join.
so the Roman Empire mixed in the the Christian belief with theirs, and it happened over 500, 600 years.
So what happened if they disagree?
The thing is that once the Romans decided that Jesus was God, you couldn't disagree no more. Couldn't say that would be heresy.
So if someone they said another continent, they said no, we don't
Don't
want.
say continent. This is
But it's before BC. Let's say
no,
another belief.
everything's an island.
Okay, let's say it was a group.
Say continent, continent.
It was a continent that does not want to believe what they believe. What is it
They would
automatic?
get persecuted.
Oh,
They
oh,
would be
wow,
they had a whole bunch of different interpretations of
wow,
Christianity,
that's rough.
and then when I say persecuted, I mean killed and
It was like a whole war, a
a
whole
whole war to convert them back,
blood. What's it called? Bloodbath?
like a bloodbath
Oh
within
man,
Christian religion.
wow.
Now, so they
So
had
basically, back then it wasn't really about islands or money or nothing. It was more like belief.
right. It was belief is stronger than
At
and
that time,
I
it was more belief. Like
because
our
let's
belief is stronger than yours,
yeah
and if you don't want to come, then we take you to war.
right.
Wow.
And see, the thing is, like, say you're a rich Roman, right, a pagan,
Yeah.
and you believe in money primarily, and you think, oh, this is just a scam. I give the god, the goddess, a bribe, and she prays, but you don't really believe it, and
Mm.
you get old. All of a sudden, you're getting old, and your health is going there, right? Well, the money doesn't matter anymore, does it?
No.
Death is showing in your face. All of a sudden, you get faced with, oh, I want to believe, I want to be a Christian, I want to go to heaven. So you do good deeds in order to go to heaven. And also, you start changing your ways because you're afraid of death.
Wow.
So a lot of people would convert like later on, and then they would tell their grandchildren or their children to believe, right? But the bad thing is with the religions, right? They it's okay if I say, if it's I don't force it on you, but it's always good to have a religious belief underneath it, because if you don't have that, then you're not answerable to anybody. You think I can get away with it.
Mm.
I can be rich, and there's no God. But it makes them very crazy, because if there's no God, if there's nothing up there, right?
Right.
Who's God? Me. I'm God because I have the money. I'm God because I have the
You
power.
have control.
I have control. I'm God because intellectually I'm a higher person than the average person in the street.
Like the Egyptian, what's it called? The pyramid?
Yeah, well,
Like the pyramid.
like the pyramid.
Whoever was up
on
It's the
top.
one that's the one they'll follow.
And see,
And everybody else will just have to work hard. If you're middle class, you just will be working with the
right,
higher up,
right.
basically. Ah,
As
okay.
they and see, and to an extent that exists even to this day, because you have a lot of people who are very powerful and they don't believe in God,
Yeah.
and they have no way to be in, and they think of the God religion as a construct, an artificial thing, keep society together. They may even teach their children a certain amount of religion, have them go to churches
All right.
because they feel that we're a bunch of apes, right?
Yeah.
That can't accept their own mortality.
Oh, that's all right.
So and so, but it's a false thing because
Mm,
there is a God. Now he may not be as nice as we like because they say God is love, God is Jesus, God will forgive everything, right?
right.
But like you're a father, right? And you have children, and at times you have to be harsh to them. You can't be loving all the time. They're destroying the house. They're misbehaving. They reach a certain age and they're get rebellious for no reason whatsoever.
Right.
So you have to be stern at that point. You can't be
Oh,
Jesus and forgive everything.
right.
Now, and the ultimate is like murderers and killers. Oh, it's Jesus, and he'll forgive everything. Well, there'll be a harshness there. There'll be you come in and you have to say no, and it's broad sometimes because say you have a society that's gotten corrupt or violent, and even the innocent people are innocent, but they're going along with it because they don't want to resist.
Mm,
They're afraid, or they just mind their own business. Um, and that society will be punished by God in a general sense.
wow.
And in other words, he'll come down and he'll be the God of wrath.
Crazy.
And he'll get the innocent as well. He'll get, okay, I want to get the guilty and the innocent, right?
Right.
I'm going to try to get all the guilty ones. But in the neighborhood, there are 20 guys who are guilty and there are 100 people who are innocent, right? He might kill the innocent people because he's going like the,
Just kidding. Right.
yeah. And then, but he'll sort them out in heaven, right? See, the thing is, that's
So
the
he's given the illusion, but he would still blow him up.
yeah.
Wow.
And the thing is, he'll take the like say if you were in here, right,
Yeah.
and you had a roommate, right, or you have a wife or whatever dealing drugs,
Right.
and you're like, no, I'm afraid I don't want to deal with this, or I love her, so I'm putting up with her corruption.
Correct.
God comes in here, the punishment, right? Was the police when they come in here, they're gonna have a shootout. You might take your gun out that you just do for your protection, the protection of your kids, but the wife is going pow 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 pow.
Oh,
The police
okay.
kill you.
Not
Your
the
kids might be
not the wife.
they might kill her. She might get away with it,
She,
and you end up getting killed.
she the one pulling the trigger, but I'm the one getting shot.
Because you're there and you're just in the way, or maybe you go crazy and the gun that you keep, right, for yourself to protect your children and protect your children from the people who might go after your wife, you're not dealing drugs.
Mm,
She's dealing drugs.
wow.
See, you're just there because
That's a
you
good point.
love her and you love your children, you don't want to, leave them alone.
That's a good point. Yeah.
So they come in, the police kill you, they kill the wife, they kill maybe a kid gets wounded, right?
Yeah.
and then then it's like, oh, the police killed them because the police, they're human beings. They could surround the place or they could just break in, depending on the situation.
Oh.
Now, if a whole community, that happens within a whole community, the community becomes corrupted, and
Okay.
because it's not strong enough to resist.
Right.
And that community can be guilt. So you say you have a bunch of people in the Midwest, white people, they can be black people, or they're just Midwesterners, and their neighborhood is very clean cut. It's a little dull.
Okay.
There's a church on every corner.
Right.
and the drug pushers come in and they want to do their thing. They're, and these country folk have guns too,
Oh,
because it's legal to have guns in their neighborhood,
because
right?
they
Because
they
they hunt and
they
they
hunt, but they don't really into all that.
right, they're not into, but they're into guns because
Yeah.
they don't trust the government, right?
Right.
So
So this
so these
random
drug
gang member who got drugs just come into their neighborhood.
and they say, "Well, can they come and we have guns and all?" And said, "We have guns too," and they chase them away, and
Ah,
they never are
okay.
able to do it because you have like you say, and it comes through a cultural thing too.
Yeah,
Say you get 100 black people together, right? You get 100, and they all have guns, or somebody enough of them have guns, right?
correct.
And then you have a whole bunch of white people. They have guns too. The militiamen, the white guys who go on, and all these things, right?
Yeah,
Okay. Now, in the black community, there's bound to be a fight among them, like personal fight. The guns come out and they shoot each other.
yeah,
Now here with the white community, they're going on their firing ranges and they're ready for a battle with the left wing guys or black people, whatever they perceive that to be, right?
yeah.
But they don't shoot each other.
Mm,
So everybody, they're armed to the teeth. They all know how military things. Now, where they have problems is domestic things.
what you mean?
In other words, the wife is cheating on the husband cheats on the wife. Bang, bang, bang. They shoot each other.
Correct. Okay, I
You
see.
know, it's like
Situations.
situations,
Right.
right?
Okay.
Black people have the same thing in their neighborhoods, right?
Mm-hmm.
See, a lot of black culture comes from white culture. They're into what black people say y'all and the posse and all that's white stuff.
Right.
And it's mixed in and then they interpret it in their own way. Now the ideal is that you take the best of that other culture, right?
Right.
And you say, that's good. And the worst aspects of it you reject. It's like the Bible, like the original Bible says, like we were going to go back. If you read the original Bible and interpretation of the Bible, they have the mud people. They interpret why, like the Jewish Bible, they go way back in the Bible. It justifies slavery. It justifies that Cain and Abel, the different interpretations. That Abel was the black child or whatever, Cain was the black child, and they say this is okay. Now, when the black slaves were put in slave camps, right?
Right.
It, they got the part of the Christian things of oh, we're going to give them a Bible,
Right.
and then the black people mixed their tribal beliefs with the Bible, and years later,
Isn't that a bad thing?
no, that's a good thing, because what happened was
But
they had their own
you
interpretation.
told me back then that they had their own prayers.
They had their own
So
gods.
it's like a warning when somebody else doesn't want to believe in it and they want to kill people.
Well,
Now, you're
well,
telling me that these people give them the Bible and they just change it a little?
yeah.
Would that make a conflict
Well, it does. See, our
towards
Bible
the
has a
original people who wrote it?
the thing is, our Bible, right,
Right,
has conflicts in it. Things that because some of what they call redacted, they reinterpret it. See, what happened was the black people got the Bible, right, the
right.
slaves,
Okay,
and they interpreted "Let my people go," which was the call of the Jewish people to be get out of Egyptian slavery, their own.
okay.
And when you see black services to this, so the whole movement to resist slavery, a lot of it came from the black churches, from slaves learning from the Bible, taking
I'm,
the best part, right,
I'm gonna ask you
and
a question.
reinterpreting.
I'm gonna ask you a question. Talking about the Bibles. So white people took over, transferred some black people over for better life, whatever the situation is, right? Took the guys for farming. They used the girls for I guess cleaning
Right.
services,
And they were doing the hoopy doo.
and
Let's go.
they
They
were
were having
also
sex.
using them for
Right.
sex. But talking about the Bibles. all the white people, no, no disrespect, I'm not being racist. They had their own Bibles and belief,
Right.
right? Did all the black and Africans have their own Bible as well, or was it they going off what the white people gave them?
What it was when the
I want
original
to know
slaves
did
came
they
in,
have their own Bible as well,
that was the Christian Bible.
or did they had to
They had their
they had to
belief.
they had to change it into their own belief?
Right. They mix. It's like almost like they mix beliefs together.
Oh,
And
so they took the book and they made their own
interpretation.
interpretation of how they will feel the Bible should go.
Right. And how to
Ah,
liberate themselves.
crazy.
Because in the Bible, the Egyptians weren't supposed to enslave the Jews, right? See, and in the
That's
Bible,
interesting.
they have parts of the Bible that say um, slavery's good.
Yeah,
And then they have
back there
parts of
it
the
was good.
Bible
Yeah,
that say slavery's bad. Now, when Jesus came in, right, he said we're all equal and we shouldn't, um, and everybody can become a Christian, right?
right.
And it shouldn't be based on if you look at it, because racially, right? If you go back and we had a camera and we took a picture of Jesus, he probably would be dark skinned. He looked like Puerto Rican.
We will know how you look
Yeah,
like.
he won't
It'd be
because the race
it'd
to
be
me,
some wrong. It could be a fat guy in a
right?
suit with a
Because
crazy gray and black beard.
because he went through the desert,
All
and
right.
I joke around in my comedy act. One of the miracles was that Jesus was blue-eyed and blonde hair. Because you go into a different country, right?
Yeah.
People want Jesus, let's say, to look like them.
Right. I've been to a black church, right? They have a black Jesus.
Right, they have a black Jesus.
I went to a Spanish church. They had a white Jesus with brown eyes.
Right,
I went to a Italian white church. There's a white Jesus with blue eyes.
right.
So it's like,
And
okay,
and then
this
each
is the
has
Jesus
and we
that
have no cameras, so we
yeah,
can't prove anything.
this is Jesus, I guess. This what they see,
They see what
how
they
they
want to
see
see,
Jesus.
right?
Right, okay.
So the thing is, when the black, most of the resistance, like Martin Luther King, and hundreds of years later, the 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 black churches were the foundation of overthrowing the Klan and all the oppression they had in the South.
Correct.
So, and they were for the most part they were pacifists. They resisted, but they weren't rioting.
Hmm.
And even the Klan was bombing black churches.
You're talking about
The Ku Klux Klan.
okay.
See, the Ku Klux Klan.
Did that issue came after did that issue came after they didn't like the belief of the change of the Bible or before before the changes?
Well, see, this is how the South became, rednecks and Klan.
Because I know at first it was humble. There was no problem.
But well, see,
But it became a problem towards the middle of the towards time. Was it because of the changes or because of the
see.
movement or the belief that they thought they was believing a different God? Well,
Well, what happens is with religion, for the
right.
most part, say you mix your God, your original beliefs, with the new beliefs.
Yeah, so
It's like God all of a sudden is like the Protestant God, right? Is the God that comes back and gets even, and the final days, and Jesus is going to come down with a fiery sword and sort things out with the sinners, right?
right,
And fight the devil and throw him into a fiery pit.
correct.
Now that's the Protestant, to some extent, the Catholics have their own very elaborate religion about that, the end times and all that, right?
Right.
So that was the religion that uh, that a lot of Christians have. Now there a lot some Christians think that Jesus is going to come down and forgive you for all your sins. That's why you have criminals with little tattoos with Jesus because they think Jesus is going to give me a pass.
Right.
And you could have two contrary thoughts. I could talk to you and say, you're a nice guy, right? You're not, you say you're not violent and all that stuff. But under circumstances, if you're provoked, you'll get violent.
Mm.
Maybe even do something criminal, right?
That's
Just to survive.
that's how the Ku Klux Klan started.
Now what happened with the Ku Klux Klan was you had you had the owners of the slave the the higher gentry or the upper class, right? And they had slaves.
Okay.
But the average white it didn't have slaves. They were what they called rednecks. And the reason why they called them rednecks, they worked in the fields and the sun beat down on their neck.
Mm.
So they were in competition to an extent with the black slaves, even though the black slaves were, owned by, say, the gentry, right, who had the whatchamacallit, the plantation.
Right. Okay.
So, and they would say to the whites who were doing very hard labor themselves, right, and own little patches of land, that you're better than the black. You're
Mm.
better than slave. And also, but the whites were in competition with the black people
Wow.
because the slave owners could have free, to a large extent, labor.
Right.
So you had two different classes of people. You had of whites, right? Those who didn't own slaves, they worked very hard in the fields, but they felt superior. That at least I'm not a slave.
Right.
And they would set the blacks against the whites to an extent.
Okay.
Okay. Now, um, what happened was this. Um, the North they got rid of slavery bit by bit. They had slavery in the North originally, and then most people didn't feel comfortable with it. So, and then they had a situation where they had certain states wanted to come into the United States and they had to fight. Oh, this is going to be a slave state. Oh, this is going to be a free state.
Oh, they called it. Okay.
So the thing was, they gradually, what they did was the North, because it was more based on a healthy situation. I mean, they had bad things with labor and all that stuff. Well, people were working under bad labor laws, but you were a free man.
Mm.
And if you were a black man, you were a free man.
Wow.
You weren't enslaved. And people would escape into the North to be free,
Right.
the railroad and all that stuff. Now, what happened was then the Civil War happened. The Civil War happened because people in the North couldn't accept the South being slaves. And the slaves, the South was, we're going to be slaves. We don't want you're not going to. And they had the Civil War. When the Civil War, the underlying thing was both um, about slavery
Right.
and also economics. Because the
Oh.
North was a healthier, they got industrialized, they were stronger.
So the Civil War was between North and South,
Well, I mean, the
and it
North,
was all about slaves.
it was not all. It was
No.
like, okay, you're a businessman, right?
Right.
And you were raised by a belief that all men are created equal.
Okay.
You may have things like your workers are not quite equal, or not, but you wouldn't base it on slaves.
Okay.
So it was an affront to you that in the South you had slaves.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
You didn't like it,
Okay.
and you didn't accept it,
Right.
and you didn't want it to come to the North, and you didn't want it to go on in the South. But some Southern guys who had the plantations, they were halfway decent to their slaves, but the other had free reign to torture and beat them down.
Wow.
So the South decided they didn't want to be part of the North, and they started the Civil War. They attacked a northern fort.
Right.
Then the Civil War happened. Now, the Civil War was bloody. You know how many people died between the North and the South in the Civil War?
How many?
600,000. With more casualties than World War II, World War I, and all that stuff.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of people. So after the South was beaten, and they were beaten that badly, they burned Atlanta. Atlanta, you know, Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah.
They went to the South and they had Sherman's March to the Sea, and he burnt everything in sight. And
Mm.
they put and they destroyed a lot of they ended slavery. They would go into the South, into the plantation,
Yeah.
and they had good people doing it who wanted, you know, equality. But you also had your guys who were con artists, and they called them the carpetbaggers, right? And
Mm.
say, "We're here to liberate," and then we take all the carpentry and all the things in the fancy homes, right? So then, for a while, you had they called them radical Republicans,
Yeah.
and they wanted to eliminate all slavery and have they had congressmen from the South,
Hmm.
black congressmen, come into the Capitol, and for a while it worked. And they had the bad guys too who were just exploiting the situation like they have now, who you know, hide behind I'm for liberation and all that, but they really want to liberate people from their money.
Mm.
So this is what happens. The South has a resistance movement, and the resistance movement is the plantation owners getting together with the whites who are now feel they're oppressed. The crackers, right?
Yeah, there's no more South now.
There's the South is occupied.
There's yeah, it's been
It's
changed.
occupied,
Okay.
and it's occupied by people who want to destroy the whole structure
Of the slaves.
of the slavery and the
Okay.
inequality. Most of them have good intentions. There are some crooks there, right? We're just there to take people's money and, you know,
Yeah.
so the South, they had a thing where the Ku Klux Klan wears
The right
the white
outfit.
outfits,
Right.
because their thing was black people were afraid of ghosts. Also, you couldn't
Mm.
see who was antagonizing you, right?
Oh, okay.
See, in the South, say you're a black person, right? You have your own little house now, and you own your and all that stuff. And I'm who comes to the door? You, my white neighborhood.
Right.
But in secret, you're part of the Klan. I don't know them.
Wow.
This is a secret organization,
Right.
you know, and they terrorized black people. They were like the Hamas.
Mm.
You know, you don't never trust people who wear masks unless they have a really good reason.
Correct. That's true.
You
Yeah.
know, because they don't want their identities known.
No, that's true.
You know,
No.
so I mean, there's sometimes when you need it when the police have to protect themselves from retaliation by political radicals like we have right now with ICE and all that, and in South America, you never see the police when they come into some place to roust the cartels.
Yeah.
They all have masks on
Yeah.
because the cartels will
To
go after their
protect themselves.
families.
Yeah.
Not only protect themselves, protect their families.
Right.
Because the cartels are they'll kill everybody
Right.
in horrible ways. Now, the thing is, with the Klan, they were resisted and event, and they then they found they were corrupt and they receded for a little while. But all the black people who were being abused by the Klan and this unfair segregation, they had segregation there. They had blacks separated from whites.
Okay.
They went north,
Mm.
but a lot of them were lower class blacks, so they just out of slavery.
Mm.
So some of their habits were the same habits as the South. If you look at their food, if you look at white Southern food and white, it's the heaviest. They'll kill you. You know, chitlins and this and fatty foods and you know, the Africans got that from us. Tastes
Mm.
good, but you know,
It wasn't healthy.
it's not healthy. So
And then if you look at the upper class,
the upper class,
they were living healthier than the lower class.
see, and there's conflicts like so coming to this today, a
Coming
lot
to
of people who the prejudice of like there's class prejudice, right? And you
yeah.
can get out of class if you say you're a lower class Dominican.
Yeah.
And the Dominicans who have more money than you look down on you a little bit. Because you're the same race, all of a sudden you get money, nobody's going to say, you're no good.
Right.
So you can get out of it that way.
Mm.
Now, if you're a dark, say you're a black Dominican, there might be people say, well, he's a black Dominican. He's not quite as good as us, even though he has the same class.
She's the same.
There's those racial
But he's
differences.
just dark skin. I don't think
He's
he.
dark skinned. He
I don't think he
mixed
could
in
do
with
it.
the
I don't
Haitian.
think he could do what the other guy can. Okay.
Yeah, maybe he got his money from drugs, maybe,
Yeah.
and all that stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
And maybe you have some habits that are offensive, like lower class habits, like you're loud or whatever. You know what I mean?
Right.
You don't know, or you're a little more violent. The other person will get, what they call histrionic, like "Bah, bah, 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 bah," and and but he goes too far. He takes out his gun and he shoots somebody.
Mm.
But that sometimes happens.
Right.
Now the thing is that how this works out in our society, and there are also differences.
I want to ask you a question
Well,
before you go off
well,
topic.
yeah. Well, I'm on the same topic,
Yeah, I
but I'm
want
just
to,
saying
before you
in
continue, I
modern
want to
times.
ask you,
Well,
is still is there is there still slavery in this time as we speaking?
not in the United States.
I heard there's still slavery
Well,
not in
well,
the United States, but I heard there was still slavery in this
in the
world.
world, oh yes, there's still slavery. There's slavery going on in Libya. There's slavery, and there's also slavery, a form of slavery that's sneaky in the United States, but it's sneaky
Mm,
because when they were letting all those people come into the country, right?
yeah,
Children, men, women, and all that stuff. Um, they had to, in order to have the money to come sneak in the United States and be transported by the cartels, right?
they were sneaking into
They sneak
one
in
of
the
those
United States.
islands.
No, the stuff with the island. They're sneaking them over the border.
He was sending them
The
over the
border
border,
of the
send them
United
somewhere where they could be saved.
Right. Because they were. What would happen is they would children that like they took a lot of They would have to pay off their debt to the cartel,
Mm,
and the cartel and the people who brought their children into the United States wanted their children to get out of South America,
right.
because South America is unstable.
So they had to let's get slave work to make enough to get them out,
Yeah,
supposedly.
they have to pay back the cartels the
Okay,
money.
wake up.
And
Wow.
if the cartels don't get the money,
That sounds
then you're
corrupted.
going to get killed. Their
Oh,
family
wow.
with it.
That's crazy.
And they're working their money off to do that.
Mm,
Like ICE just raided these marijuana fields, right?
yeah.
Marijuana fields had children that had been taken over the border,
Wow.
and their taskmasters, a lot of them were pedophiles.
Mm.
Because a lot of times the only time people who will do this are very low class criminal people
Criminal.
with no conscience.
Wow.
They're exploiting the children. So there is even in the United States a form of slavery because if you wanted your family to come over the border, right, it cost you $20,000 or $100,000, whatever it is, right? And I say to you, okay, we're going to sneak them over the border, but you have to pay off your debt to me. Now,
Mm.
if you don't pay off your debt to me, I'm going to kill your whole family.
Mm. Wow.
And that's what's going on. And
That's crazy.
that, and then see,
That's crazy.
that's crazy and it's going on.
What's going on right now as you're speaking? Wow.
Right.
And why haven't, okay, before we had it, we stepped in and we made them free.
right.
Why is that not going on now? Is not enough slave for us to free them, or is just a private area we can step in? It's like
No, we
we
can't
off
step
limit.
in, but
Yeah,
it's
we off
hard.
limit or something. Are we off limit on that side of the town or
Well, the thing is, it's very hard. It's hard to fight this thing because, like, say with the ice people, right?
Okay.
They're fighting to get rid of they say the worst of the worst, right? But also the illegals who are just here for jobs.
Okay.
Because the illegals who are just here for jobs are undermining you.
Right.
You're a worker here, right? You're
Yeah.
legal. You're an American citizen. But if I can hire somebody who's an illegal for half the money you do, you can't work. You're being undermined. See, the way it's supposed to work is, and the way it used to work
Right.
was people would come over the border, right?
Right.
And some of them were legal, most of them weren't, right? They come over the border, their children would automatically become American citizens, right? And the government really didn't. When it got to be too much for whatever reason, racial reason or cultural reasons, they get rid of a certain amount, right? But for the most part, they got to their own communities. They became Americans, and their children became Americans,
Right.
and they would send money back home to Mexico and Honduras and all these things,
Right.
where the money was worth more.
Mm.
See, the thing is, a lot of people who are from Africa, when I've worked, they work with me, and they send money back home, and the money that they send back home
It was like
was
three times,
three times as much.
maybe 10 times as
Right.
much as what they get over there.
Now, the Americans who would work in this type of job, right?
Yeah.
Who they can't send money back home. Their money is worth what the money is worth here.
It's not worth that
It's
much.
not worth that much. That's why a lot of Americans don't want to work those types of whites and blacks don't want to work those type of jobs
Oh, wow.
because they can't send it back.
I get it.
So the thing is, but it does work for a while. Now you have these commies and all that saying, and also there's collective responsibility, right?
Yeah.
Like I've never taken drugs, right?
Right.
There are a great many Americans who take drugs.
Correct.
Now those Americans are supporting and destabilizing South America
Right.
because all that money is going back, and that's where the cartels can get guns and terrorize their own people.
Oh.
See, and the thing is, now I'm not responsible. Now a lot of times they'll say, um, it's a vice and it's a disease. It's a disease like taking drugs. Say you have a bunch of friends, right?
Yeah.
It's probably happened in your life. You take drugs, take a certain amount, marijuana, whatever, but you don't become addicted.
Right.
Your friend becomes addicted.
Correct.
It's like somebody who takes drinks, somebody who drinks and they become an alcoholic.
Right.
Now, all of a sudden, you start to have kids, you start to have responsibilities and all that stuff.
Correct.
Your friend is a drug addict. He
Mm.
undermines you because he's still next door. And he takes his drugs and he does all these things. He assorts with the wrong people. He dirties the place. He puts needles in the ground. And a lot of these drugs, like meth and all that stuff, leave a mark on you.
Right.
They destroy your face, so you know who has been a meth addict and who hasn't.
Right.
They lose their teeth, and sometimes it really destroys them. Heroin, less so. But they used to have like but somebody did have,
Yeah, they lose their voice.
they got the voice and they got that. Some people have taken heroin, and you're like, you look like me.
Mm.
You didn't let it go that far. You resisted. You resisted because maybe you came from a stable background. If you come from an unstable background or stable, it helps because your mother and father were there for you. Your general family was there. You screwed up a little bit, but you had a foundation. Another person who's more susceptible to be a drug addict for the rest of their life and die, he had come from an unstable background. Maybe his mother was a drug addict.
Wow.
Maybe or he didn't have any love in the family, or he didn't have a father because the father, you know, what men want to do is like fuck and flee.
Right.
They don't want the responsibility
Well,
so
here to
young.
quit it. I caught it.
Yeah,
He didn't quit it.
and quit. And then the kid has
No clue what's
no
going on.
no male role model.
Right.
His male role model is the local chieftain of the drug pushers, who
Mm.
just wants to exploit him while he's reckless and
When
young.
he's young, he has the energy.
Right. And so what happens is this. So then you have a whole community, right? That the male role models are drug pushers.
Mm.
Now, what happens in time? The young man who you say you have a kid, right? He goes on the straight and narrow. He works in a pharmacy or a store. You don't have that much money.
Right.
He's competing with somebody who has a lot of money because he's a drug pusher, a young drug pusher, right? Well, one of the girls are attracted to this. Oh, he's dangerous. He's sexy. He has muscles. He can protect me. He can give me stuff.
Correct.
Paid for things, right? This guy that can't pay for, he gives a little salary.
It is a little savage to live in, basically.
Right.
Live on.
And you say, oh, we'll go to the movies. Well, yeah, we'll go to real movies and I'll give you money.
A drive-through movie.
Right.
He go drive-through. It's called a movie, so it's called drive-through movie.
Right, right.
Okay.
Now, what happens in time? In time, this guy's trying to go to college. He works on the straight and narrow, right?
Right.
This guy,
The stable guy.
The drug pusher, right?
The unstable guy.
The
Okay.
unstable guy. He has no skills that he learns. He just knows how to be dangerous. So by the time he's like 30,
What happened to his girlfriend?
his girlfriend, she's gotten old. She gotten pregnant by him,
Did she
right?
get addicted to drugs as well?
She might get addicted to the drugs, or she gets addicted to the money, but also she is there. Her value is based on her looks. So he's gotten rid of
her
her.
value is gone now.
Right. In other words, she gets a wrinkle. She dissipates a little too much. She acts like a bitch, and he gets rid of her.
Wow.
Gets to the next one.
What happened to the other one? The
Now
stable
the
guy.
other one, the stable guy, he gets a girl,
He
right?
finds
Who's
one.
not that much into the bling, who loves him.
Yeah.
Or maybe he gets tied down, but he doesn't, or he doesn't do it sexually as well as this guy, the drug pusher, right?
Right.
But this guy he learned a trade. He went to college, or he learned a trade when he works a plumber or something like that.
While he was working.
Right, while he was working.
Right.
But he didn't have that much money, not that much resources.
At the
He's
time,
not
yeah.
glamorous,
Right.
He's not dangerous, like he'll kill somebody for me. So a lot of girls are very impressed by that. So then this guy, he's gone to prison. All some friends of his have gotten killed, and his brain is grown because they scientifically proven, right,
Right.
that at a certain age you want danger. You're geared to that. Your
Mm.
brain hasn't full. That's why these kids go up on. They start to surf on tops of
Train
trains
stations
and all because they want danger.
Right.
So this guy now said, "Oh my God, the guy's head came off when he was surfing on the thing. He got shot, but he has no skills. He's 30 years old, right? He does. The girl he's with is not as beautiful as she was,
Mm-hmm.
and she has troubles. And now he's a has-been, and he's competing with the young drug pushers.
Oh.
Unless he's gone higher up in the echelon there, he is he's like the guy, like, yeah, and he's warning people, don't do this, don't go into the drugs. They're not listening, even if he has kids. Now I've seen some people, it's amazing. They have a stable background.
What about the stable guy?
Stable guy has a family.
They get a promotion.
He gets a promotion. He gets has a foundation.
He got a foundation going on.
Right.
Assistant manager.
Now he didn't have as many girls. He didn't have as much bling. Assistant manager.
But he had a success with his kids and family.
And he has a relationship with his kids and family.
That's good.
Now you can see that, and you can see that reflected in your own life.
Wow.
When you take care of your kids, maybe you don't have the relationship because you with whoever's the wife, but you have a relationship. There's a structure, there's a foundation.
Mm.
Where people take now the other person, They
They didn't have
they
the
didn't have a
foundation.
foundation, or if they do have a foundation, it's overdone. You know,
So the foundation he had wasn't. It was just they say a false.
it was a
It
false
was a
foundation.
false. Is what they wanted him to believe.
Right. So, and the drug pusher who was his mentor,
This
he's
mental.
either dead or he doesn't care. He says, "Oh, do you have a son that I could hire him out?"
Oh wow,
And that's how you have a
that's
whole
crazy.
that you have whole areas, right? That are they're like a chieftain thing,
Yeah.
and the kids, and that's why, and people don't have rules that they follow, structured rules. In other words, you have okay, say when black people start shooting each other in the street, right?
Right.
When they get together. And
Mhm.
because that's fine. You don't mess with me. If you outnumber me, you can be beating you down and take my gun out and shoot you.
Right.
Now, in the white area, right, with these, and they're tough, nasty people sometimes, they have a thing, uh, you don't treat me this way, we're gonna fight it out individually. We're gonna go out to the backyard there, right?
Right.
And settle this. We're not gonna
Correct.
have 20 guys beat the shit out of you, beat you to the ground.
Wow.
So you have rules. You can be a tough guy, but you have certain rules. The other guys don't have rules. They have rules of, I'm gonna take my gun out. That's why, every time you have like a big get together of certain black people,
Yeah.
they take out the guns and they
Mm.
shoot each other if they're outnumbered,
Okay.
or they want to be the baddest guy in the world.
Yeah.
But being the baddest guy, or they say, "We'll keep it real." Well, they keep it so real they become unreal because they're dead.
Mm.
Like you used to have years ago, before you were young, you probably remember like Tupac and all these people, right?
Right.
Now, with the rock and rollers before, they would have arguments among themselves,
What's
the
the
white ones or the black ones, but they didn't go like this. I'm gonna shoot you, but they had the habits from the ghetto.
and I don't really hear much about the rock and roll, the community about them, but did they ever had a conflict between rock and rollers?
Sure.
Like they did with hip hoppers like South and West or or let's say any one singer versus the other singer. Did they ever have something
Oh, they did.
they did?
And like in England, they used to
Like
have they used to have they used to
whose
have
song was better or why are these songs playing on my radio?
well, they didn't have it publicly because the they didn't have like feuds like we have, where the guys would say the argue with each other and then their little posses would shoot each other.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
They never had that.
So
That started that
so they
started with
never
hip hop.
had ever have
They did shady things.
they did but they did their own
But they did the shade like for instance, they had Elvis Presley's considered, the icon, right?
correct.
But he had a little bit of shadiness in him. A lot of bit of shadiness because his wife was 14 years old.
Okay.
That he was in his 20s.
Okay.
But in the South, you could be if you got permission from the parents, or if they considered you an honorable man, you could have a wife 14 years old legally.
All right.
North, you couldn't do that. Not like each state was almost a country in itself,
Oh,
different
okay.
rules. Now, the thing is that what happened in the North, and Elf, they said he made women wrestle each other, and he cheated on his wife. So the suspicious minds. Well, she had the right to be suspicious. He was sleeping with everything that walked.
Right. He was a celebrity.
Right, because his celebrity women
Everybody
throw them, and so he's
they put
very
himself at
handsome.
him.
And so,
Right.
and then later on, he had his vices where he got on drugs, not and like drugs to keep him, when he wasn't entertaining,
Right.
and he got fat in the end. He got fat later because if you look at his comeback, he's still slim. He does his karate. He has a charisma. He really got fat in the last few years of his life.
Oh,
His ex, he ate terrible. He had fried.
his last few years before.
Right, and he got
Okay.
really fat, and he died a horrible death. Well, the humiliating death. He died on a toilet bowl. You know
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So he was in the toilet bowl,
That's
and
a
it was
big,
drugs.
big famous. Yeah.
Right. It was drugs that killed him.
Wow.
Now, the thing was, he's still an icon, and people look at and it's sort of like a vice that he had. They don't look now. Now, contrast this with somebody who's still thought as is very good, Michael Jackson.
I want to ask you
But
some
so, and black people forgive Michael Jackson for his
for
sins,
what he done.
and
Yeah, I
white
know.
people
People's
forgive
looking away.
this.
Hey, people's looking away on that.
Right? They
I noticed they're looking away, right?
and that was and pedophilia, which that was he was guilty of. Well, we all know.
Mm,
People said it was because people will forgive him for it because it was his childhood. He
mm.
was never allowed to be a man. His father used to beat him, but
Oh,
he was the best.
right,
So he had never had a child. He never had little kids that he could become friends with. That with a little girlfriend and or maybe even he had, latent homosexual tendencies, little boyfriends,
right.
where they don't do the hoopy doop. But so people forgave that. People don't look at that. You still think of the kid. He's the equivalent, the modern equivalent of Elvis.
Mm,
And he don't go away. So doesn't Elvis. A lot of times, so when you go back in time, um, what I'm saying about this is Jesus, whether you believe in Jesus the God or Jesus the prophet,
right.
his philosophy is you forgive the sins of the father.
Mm,
See, because that knocks that thing right out. So all you have to do is deal with the sins of today.
correct.
If your father was the big drug pusher, I'm not going to go, well, I'm going to get you, even though your general or your grandfather was, because everything is built on a little exploitation. The nature of things and a little corruption.
Yeah.
And just to survive, we all corrupt because the system almost forces them to that.
Mm,
See, the system doesn't see the way the system works, right? Nowadays, it keeps people down because if you're on welfare, right,
right.
you're not allowed to have more than $2,000 in the bank.
Wow.
So how the hell are
It's
you
like
gonna?
control.
So how the hell can you save
They
money
want
in your
us.
own business?
They want us to spend money, I guess. Right?
Yes. Well, they want to keep you dependent.
Oh,
See, then and then like say if you're a father, right? It makes more sense for you to say that you don't live with your wife because she gets more money
then you
than
living
when
with
you
it.
live with her. So they discourage marriage.
Oh,
You're
wow.
married to the government.
Okay.
So and then who's making all the money? The social workers and all that because the social workers, the doctors, and all they're making money, but they're not. What it should be socialism, and it's not a bad idea. What it should be to make you stronger.
Right.
It should be, and if you do make mistakes, right? Because we all make mistakes. Say if I gave you $100,000, right?
Yeah.
Now, and you're saving it, but you make bad investments. Well, then you don't have that money.
No, no, you lost it. It's
You
gone.
lost it.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't have something that you could fall back on, how your health goes.
Down.
Your health goes down, and then you had this business, but you can't do it
You
anymore.
can't maintain it no more.
You need the government to help you.
Right.
But so that's a good thing.
Well, isn't that considered like a trap?
Well, it's not a trap if it's needed.
To me, I feel like it's a trap because it's like, oh, you need help? Okay. I'll loan you the 10,000, but it comes with interest. And if you don't pay the interest, then I might have to take your company.
Right. Well, that's the
So
thing that
it's
can
like
happen.
a trap.
It is a trap.
Now, depending on his successful or is it really gonna make that much to give it back?
See,
But if he doesn't make it back, then he lose something
right.
that he couldn't. You know what I mean?
But see, that's the thing is that you should have money, right? Your own money, right? That you're allowed to make as much as you want, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the government says It guarantees you something where you're not destitute.
Mm.
See, there used to be, you know why they say 65 is the retirement age?
Why?
Because most people didn't live to that long. In 19, when they got in 33,
Yeah.
people died.
At
So
65?
at 65, people, you look at how they're old because they worked very hard jobs, and take
Oh
care of
yeah, they'd
themselves.
work 2 times harder than we work now.
Right, and they didn't have the great food, and it was, and a lot of work was labor work and all that stuff. And people just didn't live as long. People didn't live and the medicine was good. So people didn't live beyond that. So you always had more people putting into the system. They died, and they had more money to work with.
Okay.
So, but now people live until 85,
Yeah, they live longer now.
and now they get major medical.
I think the last person that died was 106.
Yeah, well,
And they
yeah,
broke the
yeah.
record on that too. Well,
So,
we gotta end this podcast.
okay,
Can we
well,
talk about the last thing?
about what?
The first thing we talked about
We talked about
was
race.
for the mayor.
Oh, now the mayor, what?
Some people is saying that he should be out of the office, whatever the situation is.
Well, see, the thing is with the mayors, it's very simple. See, they're mixing two things up.
Why?
Because they're mixing Muslim belief, right?
Right.
And their habits, and like they have prayer things in which they pray to Allah and they pray to Mecca, right?
Okay.
And all Muslims do that. Modern, uh,
They all pray to
they all
something.
pray. They all pray to
They all
Allah.
pray to something.
Right.
Basically.
That's not the provocative thing. That they should not have him as mayor.
With that.
And his wife is not acceptable as the mayor of the city. A mayor's wife. But what she did was when um, she had a tweet, right, which she liked and she endorsed, in which they said it endorsed the murder of all the thousands of Jews in October. And they
That's
even said that
that's not right.
that's not right.
Okay.
That's not right. And he says, well, she's a private citizen. Well, she has um, influence on him. You know, when he goes to demonstrate, and they say to the river to the sea, right?
Correct.
And that means no Jews in Palestine.
Mm, I
That's
see.
not acceptable,
No,
and
no,
the Jews
no.
will never accept that.
Right.
And now they what they do is they assault Jewish students in the colleges, and they
That's why
get away
they
with it.
that's why they're giving him a hard time. But
Right, because his beliefs are
it's not what we believe is. It's how he's saying things.
right, or the influence he has. Because
Yeah, how he's saying things. Because if we would have came where like if we would have came up with something where he could balance out both things, say something that it won't bother either this person or this person. I don't think he would be in this conflict right now.
They wouldn't.
But like you said, his wife influenced him to say something he's not
Right.
supposed to agree to, right?
Right, and he's a communist, right, and
Right.
and a Muslim, right? Okay, but he comes from a rich family
Okay.
because what the Europeans used to do is they would use they would take that's a black country, Uganda, right?
Okay.
They would take you from your country, and I think his original one was somewhere in Arabia, which they're Arabs,
Okay.
and they would make them the middleman. So they have the jobs and
Oh,
they have all this power. His
wow.
family lives in a mansion.
Wow.
His what? He's never worked a day in his life. He was a hip hopper and supported by his mom, who was rich and a pro radical, things, a movie thing.
Okay.
Now he comes in here and he says, "I'm a communist. I'm going to run this city the communist way."
Right.
And it's not good for the city. It's not good for the working class. Like he said, he was going to have free food, right, or a very low price, right.
Yes.
Well, they would compete, and he was going to invest like $20 million in each store. They would compete with a bodega And initially they wipe out the bodega because, oh, it's free food. How can I sell things and compete with free food? So all the working class people who work in the bodegas, who are mostly Spanish, they're out of business. And they're the working class and the middle class of their societies.
Mm.
So that doesn't work. And not only that, where they've done it, what happens is the food runs out, and you go, there are long lines around the block for the food, and you go back to the bodega, but the bodega is hurting. See what the problem is with the United with the capitalists, say, right? Some capitalists believe in maximum exploitation and profit, like a
Mm.
religion.
Okay.
Some can be reasonable.
Right. It could be reasonable.
And they say, okay, I need to make a profit on this building. I'm going to charge you for your rent so much,
Right.
and you can do it, and and then and he's honest with you. He's not exploitative. Like they had Ben Shapiro said, and I disagree with this. Well, if you can't afford to live in New York, you shouldn't.
Mm.
Now this is bad because that means the only people working and living in New York will be transitory
Right.
because you can't raise a family in New York.
I mean, you got raised in someplace else.
You're right. That means it's unstable. That means your kids have to adapt to a new school. You're on the run. As soon as you establish a foundation in a city that makes it stable, so you're basically, oh, good job. You made it all stable. Bye bye. You can't afford it. Let's raise all the rents.
Mm.
So
Let's see.
that's the bad part of capitalists who just think in terms of profit.
Profit.
Yeah, and there's capitalists on capitalists. Let's say you're a small businessman, you had a restaurant for years.
Right.
Then your landlord says, instead of charging you $5,000, I'm going to charge you $25,000, and then you're gone.
Wow.
Now, this is and
That's wrong.
that's wrong, and that's what forces people into communism because they go, I gotta. This is not fair.
That's what's going on with the mayor.
That's what is going on with the city and the mayor. Potentially, these two are fighting it out. If the mayor, see what I think is going to happen is this.
Yeah. What's your opinion?
My opinion is this: the mayor has his way. They chase all the old guard, working class, middle class out of the city. So
Correct.
the only people you have are the very rich who can stay, or transients, and the very poor.
Mm.
But who will profit from this? The rich from other areas, because they can stay a Russian, right? Gets his money from crooked things.
Correct.
He can come in here and pay that rent. Or say they have trust fund kids, right? And you see the trust fund kid, he's well educated, he works in a coffee shop, right? That's because his family is supporting him.
Mm.
This is a lifestyle thing. In other words, I'm a communist, I'm this, but he's being supported by his father and mother.
Correct.
And then when he wants to have kids and all that stuff, he moves out of the city. And then the city is not really a city. The city is like it doesn't have a foundation.
Wow.
It's because it doesn't have kids in it, it doesn't have this. And and you say, well, because you're gonna and the communists, what they do is this. They say, and sometimes got like in Venezuela, let's say, right? They had they had the lower class and the middle class and the rich.
Okay.
Now, the lower class were being exploited. The capitalist system wasn't working for them, right?
Right.
So the so what happened was they went and said, we're going to take the money from the middle class and the working class and the rich and give it to the poor. But the poor, but the thing is, what you're doing is you're exploit your the the working class and the middle class are not exploitive. They've done the reason why they have their upper middle class or whatever is because they have good habits,
Mm.
good work habits. They work real hard.
Correct.
So What are you saying? Oh, we're going to steal your money to give to the poor. A lot of times the poor don't know how to manage their money. So they steal, it's like they steal from Peter to pay Paul. They chase out, and the other people have the the option of getting the hell out of there. Because say I'm a poor guy next door to you, right? And I said, look at that Jay. He has so much money. And he has a car, and he has that, or whatever, right? But you know why Jay has that?
What?
Because Jay works very, very hard for that.
I see.
Jay's habits,
But some people don't like it.
and some people get jealous.
Okay.
Now I don't. Maybe I'm not as smart as you, or not as educated, or whatever. But I'll say, shit, I want that. So I take money from you, and or I tax you very heavily, or I take your things. I say, Jay, I have a gun, and I'm willing to use it,
Wow.
and I'm backed up by the government.
That's
So you
crazy.
get the hell out of there, don't you?
Yeah.
And then you go to America where all your skills are accepted, and then you're doing well. Now you can go into intellectual things about because the communists are always like, well, if you just gave me more money and let me steal from you more, everything will be fine.
Mm.
That don't work. When they had and they always become corrupt because what they say it's utopian, and say if you start to complain about this, well, you live in a perfect society. That doesn't exist in our society.
Right.
And well, it does, because human nature is human nature. What human nature is supposed to be is you have a certain amount of, you can't become totally corrupt. You can't, and it's going to become corrupt. And you just see if you have, Venezuela lost 7 million people ran out of Venezuela.
Wow.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Nobody's running into Venezuela, and Venezuela's going out of business and very poor
Yeah.
because you've taken all the people vitality in them and you've driven them out.
It's crazy.
That's crazy. And a lot the, and that's why like when they had them when they kidnapped that leader from Venezuela, right? They basically said he's out of business. We're going to turn Venezuela back to capitalism, right? You had Venezuelans were celebrating, thousands of them. And the people counter demonstration that they were kidnappers and America was doing the wrong thing, right? 90% of them were white. They
Wow.
weren't Venezuelans. Or they weren't, and the Venezuelans saying, what are you, crazy? This guy was killing people. This guy was stole my property and all that. And these Venezuelans aren't rich people.
No.
They're like you. They're like,
They're just regular people
or
work.
regular people who worked hard
Yeah.
and they were being stolen from because their system doesn't work. But the only thing with our system is based on individual morality,
Income.
income, and also not being so extreme
Mm.
that you're not willing to help people.
Okay.
And that's why with Somalia, that whole thing went into Somalia, people were willing to help people and billions of dollars, right? And they were sending it to the daycare centers.
Right.
Well, the daycare centers were false. They didn't have kids in them. The people who were getting the $1 billion were getting kickbacks. The,
Wow.
the, the, the daycare centers were empty. This white guy comes in there. He says, I want to send my kid into the daycare center. And the Somalians, they were going, no, 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 you can't come in here because there's no kids. It was all a scam.
Also, he left. He's like, oh.
No, he was a reporter.
Yeah, he left and reported, and then
They
they're like,
were
oh,
reporting it
shit.
all came out. And the thing was that if you said something like, "Oh, they're stealing all the money," they would say it was racist because the people who were stealing most of the money were Somalians
Mm.
because you had scam artists.
Wow.
And the thing is, and then now how would you feel, right? Out of the goodness of your heart, you're giving the tax money, and you think it's going to the kids.
Right.
It's not going to the kids. It's going to a Somalian con artist.
I'll be upset.
You'd be real upset.
Yeah.
because you're working. Because everybody has, you want to help
So
yourself.
I'm
You want to do
working.
because and the money's going
I'm
to. And
giving,
then when they say, "Well, you just don't like Somalians,"
I'm giving thousands and thousands,
millions, billions
millions of money.
to one state,
And then they
they
just, when
steal
I
it.
just find out the money wasn't going
Then
nowhere,
then you become a hardcore. So I won't give no money to nobody. Or if I do give some money to
I gotta
somebody,
see,
I gotta see the money's
I
going
gotta
in their
prove, I
hand.
gotta see everything how to come
Yeah.
once a week. To
I
see.
gotta see is the money, and that the money doesn't go. Also, what happens is the money goes into bureaucracy that takes care of the problem.
Mm,
But it, but the way it goes, say if there was a big charity, right,
right.
and I donate $100,
Okay.
but the $100 goes to the bureaucracy, the structure that helps the people. It's supposed to be fed. So I give $100. Uh, Actually, the money that they say kids get is $10. The rest goes to the people who work for the bureaucracy,
Wow.
and that's what happened. Uh, a lot of times, like when you have a situation where you have one doctor, right,
Mm-hmm.
who can do everything, but they compartmentalize, and instead of having one doctor that can do everything, you have five doctors.
Mm-hmm.
Now, who's making the money there? The five doctors. Because you have to, instead of employing one person to do all the work and get paid well, you have five different people doing the same work.
Ah,
Very simple things like, well, this one's for the wound, and this one's for the groin, and this one I can't tell you anything about that. All of them making money. It's all going into the bureaucracy.
wow.
That's the conflict, and you can't go to the extremes because there are some Republicans, right,
Yeah.
who believe that if you that's your lot. If you're not educated enough, you're poor,
Wow.
and you're competing with me, and I'm not having as much fun as you are.
Correct.
I'm square, therefore I should be rewarded for that. I'm not
Mm,
sleeping with everything that walks. I'm not taking drugs. So why should I uh, um, be be punished for your vices?
right.
Say, but it gets mixed up because um, people just go. They go to there are people who are civilitarians. They don't believe in government at all. They believe you're on your own.
Right.
That's it, because they don't like and they go for the philosophy, which is you go by the individual. You go, okay, this person needs help. Can I help them directly or indirectly? Maybe I can like look past their vices, their things that they're screwing up a little bit.
Right.
Um, then you do it with people as individuals. But if you're totally a screw up, say if you're a drug addict, I give you money. That money's going to drugs, or that money goes into partying,
Right.
or wildness.
Okay.
I can't do that. I'm just throwing money away.
Just throwing money.
And I'm not doing all this fun stuff like taking drugs and all that stuff.
Right.
So here I am, and then you're tempting. I said, now we've had two kids. Your kid takes drugs. My kid doesn't take drugs. My kid is stable. Your kid's not stable.
Right.
But your kid gives my kid drugs because they're hanging out because they're having a good time.
Right.
It just so happens that my kid, even though I gave him a stable background, gets addicted.
Mm,
The other person is sort of like, yeah, I can do wild things. And a lot of times they're upper middle class people who come to the city, right? They're like, I had this adventure and I was close to death. And then you say, well, what happened to your friends? Oh, they're all dead.
wow.
I survived because I had a stable background.
That's crazy.
And that happens nowadays. Now you have this new thing with fentanyl. But people and kids have a crazy idea. There are kids who are taking fentanyl, and you know what they say? And we say, "Well, it's going to poison you. You could die." Well, yeah, it's exciting, like Russian roulette. I never know what's going to happen.
Wow.
And, and you
Wow.
know that happens. You're like, "What the hell?" And here you and instead of your kid doing some like
That's crazy.
crazy like skydiving or whatever crazy ass
Yeah.
thing they do, they're taking drugs that could kill
Fentanyl.
fentanyl.
Mm.
And that's why uh, Trump is acting like it's a war thing because what we, not us, but the certain white people who they weakened China, they had the Opium Wars.
Right.
And the Opium Wars, where they forced the Chinese to accept opium, which destroys the Chinese society
Right.
and weakens them and weakens their young people so they can't fight communism and all that stuff.
Mm.
They're on drugs.
Right.
So and also they become part of criminal gangs and all kinds of stuff like that. Now, what the Chinese are going, well, you did that to us, now we're going to do that to you,
Oh, okay, I
like
see.
revenge.
I see, I see. Well,
Now the thing is with see what and Trump is he's doing things that are extracurricular, because our system is like not they're not unconstitutional, but the presidency has gotten a lot of power, right?
yeah.
Is he, but if he see the reason why is saying, well, why are we getting around in the Middle East and all that stuff? Because if Iran gets the bomb, right?
Yeah.
All they need is a few of them. Israel has about 100 atomic bombs. They will not allow Iran, they're doing it with us as an ally, they will not allow Iran to have the bomb. Because once Iran has the bomb, they are true believers and they'll blow up Israel. So Israel will retaliate. That means let's say 100 atomic bombs going off in the Middle East. That's hundreds of millions of people dead, innocent people.
You basically killed them.
And the radioactive
Now,
clouds that'll go over Europe and over us eventually.
now Iran.
And Iran
Now Iran.
and Iran too, and both countries will be destroyed. Hundreds of millions of people.
As I'm saying, you basically killed them.
Yeah, you
because you gave them the bomb.
Right, because once they
Basically, you didn't kill them, but because you gave them the bomb.
Well, you let them get
You let them get the bomb.
Right.
You basically hand them the death.
And most leaders, these guys are true believers. They believe that if they die, right, the guys that we just, they're going to go to heaven.
Wow.
Earnestly. In other words, they're not afraid. They're afraid, but they're not really afraid.
Yeah.
They have that real.
Right, they're not scared of death now.
Right. And the thing is, if their holy mission is to destroy Israel, they're going to do it. Now, the Israelis are coming from their point of view is we've been persecuted everywhere.
Mm.
And this is our one land where we can be Israelis and we can feel safe. Well, God, safe. 100 million Arabs want to kill you, but and also it's a religious thing because everything says how we if you don't believe in God, right?
Right.
How we became a society is how we became not apes or cavemen is because we believed in God. Because when you had loyalty to your tribe, you had loyalties to your tribe around you.
Right.
So you would fight for your tribe, which was small.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's right.
And if somebody became weak, like say the other caveman became weak, he was a burden.
Right.
They let him die.
Wow.
Because they didn't think that he went to heaven or there would be any punishment. It was survival of the fittest.
Okay.
So what happens is you can't get beyond the caves that way. You can only build an empire if people feel that there's a God,
right.
There's something they're contributed to, or if they take care of the old, they'll be rewarded. If they take care of the weak, they'll be rewarded.
Smart.
So that's why we have so. What civilization's for?
Well, for what?
Women and children and old people.
That's what there was.
That's why the civilization.
Okay, okay.
Because you want somebody, a civilization in which the weak are taken care of. And in old age you'll be taken care of.
Right.
When you're young, what do you think? I'm young, I want to run around and rape and kill and
Yeah, but
have lots of sex.
he's still being taken care of though
Well, you're being taken
by
care
your
of.
parents.
Well, see, but
And then as you get older, you're still getting taken care of
by
other
your
people,
parents.
by other people or your parents.
Well, the thing is, you have a structure there where up until a point of like when you, like, say you reach the age of 15,
Right.
and all of a sudden you're a man, you're powerful and strong, right?
Mm-hmm.
Years ago, they would send you off to war,
Mm.
and you would have to leave your wife and children behind. Frequently, wives would die in childbirth,
Ah.
so you had more than one wife.
Okay.
And also, frequently, kids, you would make them as strong as possible, like the Spartans did and all that stuff. And taking care of themselves when they're young, when they were at a certain age. But you can't rely on men because men's instinct is to sometimes abandon their children
Mm.
because they don't want to become too attached.
I see.
If you became too attached to your one wife and she dies in childbirth, you're destroyed.
Okay.
If you have 6 wives, you have something to rely on.
Mm.
So the thing is, men are strong up in, and years ago was one time from 15 to say 35, 40
Right.
years old. Then their bodies start to deteriorate.
Right. Break down
Break
to
down. So they need somebody to take care of them, which would be their wives and children to go back to civilization.
okay.
So they're no longer, I don't care,
Yeah.
I'll be strong. I want to rape and kill and murder and conquer.
No, it's different.
They have something to rely on.
Ah.
See, and that's why, depending on the civilizations are for people who are vulnerable. And the education system, everything is that way. You can't just rely on men's instincts. What are your honest instincts? When you're really honest about it, you're young and you reach a certain age after puberty, I want to sleep with that one. I want to sleep with that one. I want to sleep with that one. Because your instincts are to sleep with as many people as possible.
Wow.
To impregnate as many women as possible. So there are a lot of people. And uh and that because that was your ancient instinct.
Right.
Women's instinct is to tie you down somewhat,
Right.
to get you to take care of the kids, to get you to have just her as your center of your universe,
Right.
not these other people. So you have a conflict there. But the conflict that you don't go to the extremes where women don't want a man to have a life at all. He's supposed to love me, nobody else, and that's it. Even though all his instincts say, I like this one. Oh, you better not, I'll kill you.
Mm-hmm.
And then the women have the instinct a lot of times they get mercenary. It's all about the money and this and how much you can give them.
Right.
I didn't realize this until I was older, that you would go into a discotheque. Oh, we used to call them discotheques. And they would be looking at your shoes.
What?
To see how expensive they were.
All right.
So if you would be good, you know what? I said, yeah, you know what guys would do? He'd be poor as church stuff. He'd just buy expensive shoes and fool them.
Mm-hmm. Let's sign off.
Okay, this was a long one. I don't know who's going to listen to this.
It was a good podcast. It was our first try. I hope you guys like it. This is Jay, and that's
Nostrovini. Alias.
yes. And I hope you liked it. We was just speaking like we was in a barber shop, basically. So, hey.